Hello and welcome to the Brutal Iron Gym podcast, where our goal is to cut through the BS and deliver the brutal truth about topics related to health and happiness. So today's topic is mindset, and we're going to talk about developing mental toughness. So this one, we are going to start with the statement of we grow to what we go through. Okay? So the only way you've gotten as tough as you are now, as tough as you are today, is by enduring the challenges that you've faced so far in your life. So things that have tested you, things that you had to, when you were who you were, this thing came along, tested you. And you had to grow to overcome that challenge. You had to, in a sense, become better, get stronger, get smarter, be more disciplined, yada, yada, yada. You had to do something to improve upon who you were at that time, to get past that challenge. And in the process, you became a new, stronger person. Now, often those challenges kind of break us at times. They can make us feel like we're being almost brought down as a person. So sometimes we need to be kind of like stripped down, rebuilt, and built back up. So we see this all the time in training in the gym. Is somebody comes in and they'll say they're having a plateau on their squat strength, or they're having like pain somewhere, and it's as they got stronger they started having this pain, or as they got stronger everything just kind of stalled out. And typically what we have to do is break down their form, analyze any small weaknesses, usually things that were wrong from the start or from long ago that either weren't diagnosed or they tried to work over it, and all of a sudden this foundation they built, this base they built on a cracked foundation. We need to come back in and fix that crack. So we see it all the time is where people come, they have to learn how to squat better, and sometimes that means they can't squat as much as they're used to. But with practice and with time, they can come back stronger than they ever were. So we have the same thing with ourselves. It's like if we ever experienced financial hardships, so anytime you've ever been tight on money, it makes you kind of look deeper into how you spend your money, and you can actually learn to be more disciplined. You can learn to kind of look at money in a little bit of a different way. So I've told you guys a story, like when I first opened the gym, my entertainment budget for a month was $5, and that let me buy Redbox movie, so a rental movie every weekend, and I just got to watch a movie. So that was basically, it was like $1 and change, added up to $5 a month, and at that time I had some days where I was waking up with a negative bank account. And I had days where, I'd end the day with like $40 in my bank account, and that was it. So I didn't have, so $5 was actually planned and thought out, and it was insured. Like I tried not to make it more than that because at the time, renting a movie from Redbox didn't seem like, it was kind of almost like you could even question if you wanted to spend the $5 that way. But what I had realized at that time, and thankfully due to like people I'd talked to and like books I'd read, was that I still needed to do something for my mental sanity. So even just getting distracted in a movie every weekend, I was usually fell asleep before the thing was over, but it gave me some form of a release from the stress. So, but that's financial hardships. Everybody's had some along the way. So I've met people who they they didn't get financial support, or they didn't have the opportunity for financial support from like parents, and they had to kind of work 2 or 3 part-time jobs to pay their way through college while also taking out student loans, and they learned how to get tougher and more disciplined with money. So it might have meant that they had to live with weird roommates and live in less than ideal living conditions. But that again taught them mental toughness. That taught them discipline. That taught them how to get along with others. It even maybe just taught them about what they liked most about themselves, like what they need in a partner. So that way when they got into a relationship, they would better understand what it was like to live with somebody else and kind of understand how to compromise, but then also understand what not to compromise on. And we've all had relationship breakups, like relationship issues, relationship stress, relationship challenges. So where, we might have, found happiness by having someone else in our life. And whenever they were taken away, it crushed us. And we had to learn to create happiness in our own life. And then that significant other would just be a good addition on top of your current life. But we had to learn how to develop happiness and contentment in just ourselves, rather than putting the responsibility of finding happiness in our lives on our partner, which isn't fair. So we've had things where we get, denied a promotion at a job. Maybe you went to school and you tried to get a scholarship and that got denied. So I've known people, unfortunately, who got pregnant and they lost a child during pregnancy. There's been people who've had, sexual abuse, physical abuse. There's been, an endless list of challenges that we've all had to endure in our lives. And I hope and I pray for you that you were able to come out stronger on the other side of those challenges. And I hope and pray that if you're in a challenge right now, that you can find a way to come out of it stronger as well. But that's basically what kind of grows us in life, is we grow to what we go through. So if we want to get tougher, we have to go through more challenges and more hardships. Yes. So that's what's gotten us tough now, and that's what will get us tough in the future. Now, if you want to develop mental toughness, the neat part of that process is you get to pick your challenges. Life normally picks them for you. And they'll throw them on you at the worst freaking times when you're not ready, times when you are not prepared, you are not who you need to be to get through that challenge. So life throws it at us. We hopefully deal with it, tons of stress, tons of worry, tons of concern, but hopefully we come out stronger on the other side. How you can develop mental toughness for life is to take yourself through the challenges first. So I've seen this firsthand in my life, and it's made an enormous difference in my mental toughness. And I think it can help you guys as well. So is where we decide to take on our own challenges. We decide to take control of the craziness of life. So there's a quote by Mark Bell, who owns howmuchabench.net, another company called like Slingshot. There's a couple of company names, but he owns a fitness equipment company, and he has a YouTube channel and like Instagram and stuff called Soup. He has a gym called Super Training. But anyhow, he has a quote about his training, and he said, "Life will never be as hard as my training is." And that's his secret to dealing with a lot of shit. So is however hard life is, he makes his training harder. So that way life is easier. And I've found this to be very true in my life as well. Is that if I take on challenges and I make myself stronger and stronger, then when life tries to throw something at me, I just, whatever, I've dealt with worse than this, and you just keep moving. So it can build up your resiliency to the stress of life. So I laugh now, like the things I do in business now and what I handle is significantly more than what used to break me when I was younger in business. So I've had weeks on ends where I slept 4 to 5 hours a night, and a couple nights in a row just at the gym because there was no point in driving home. But now that I've gotten better at energy management, as I've gotten better at time management, as I've gotten better at saying no to things, I've been able to handle more workload and help more people, but have a better balance in my life. So I've seen that happen in my life where I took the stress of things and kind of took control of them, worked through them, and it made me stronger in the long run. So I think to myself is like, just like my experience with like different injuries and whatnot, is like last year I tore 3 muscles in my legs. So I attached my right hamstring, which stunk. And that was because I traveled to go train with somebody who it was well worth it. Even without a hamstring, it was a good time. But I traveled to train with somebody where I could learn from them, and they were kind of a big name in the strength sport. So I traveled, went and trained with them, and they trained at a much slower pace than I was used to, and so my body wasn't kind of like it was almost like every time I got warmed up for squatting, we waited so damn long before the next squat that my body cooled off again. And from having sat to travel to them, and I had trained clients actually that like all morning before I left them, but basically I wasn't prepared movement wise, so I ended up detaching a hamstring, and that caused issues. And then I went to a powerlifting meet and tore my left muscle, my left leg down by my knee, and I tore my right my right adductor. So that was kind of a bummer. And I remember even after I detached the hamstring, I still pulled 700 pounds for a PR in deadlift. I remember after I tore the leg muscles, the other two muscles at the meet, I had my parents drive me from the meet to the gym before we went home so I could get in my first rehab session. So I got on an adductor and abductor machine, got on a leg press, just kind of got blood flowing and got the muscles moving again. And I remember people asking, like, what the hell? You're a psychopath. Like, you just tore your legs up at the meet and you're now training that same day. So I was still covered in chalk. I was still wearing my singlet. And I went to the gym and started rehabbing. And it wasn't... in my mind, it wasn't even any mental toughness anymore. It was what I was supposed to do. It was the best thing to do at the moment. So I just chose the best thing to do. So it's no longer really a badge of honor and like, I'm going to do this because I'm tough. Now, sometimes you need to tell yourself that story to get yourself motivated and go. But I've done it enough now to where I don't have to prove to myself I'm tough anymore. I've already done enough miserable challenges to myself. I believe I am tough. So I've torn 17 muscles, 6 ligaments, and broke bones over the years of lifting. So 19 years of lifting. I remember I broke a collarbone while I was bench pressing. I've talked about that before. And we still finished the workout. So after breaking my collarbone while bench pressing, we went and did dumbbell presses, did body weight dips, I did machine chest flies, threw up in the parking lot. We drove to the ER and found out I broke my collarbone. So, but I wanted to finish the workout because if something really was wrong, at the time I didn't know wasn't sure what happened. But if something really was wrong, I knew it was going to be a while until I could train chest again. So I wanted to finish the workout. And then also I was with a training partner, and it wouldn't have been fair to force him to cut his workout short just because I was an idiot and broke my collarbone. So we finished the workout. I remember years and years and years before that, I was in a deadlift challenge competition once, and we were trying to do 440 pounds for reps. And I believe I did like 16 or 17. And my form had gone to absolute crap because at the time I didn't really understand what good form was. So I would have thought I did, but I didn't. My back was rounded over. My head was up, so I was looking up the whole time I was trying a conventional deadlift, which is stupid. That's going to hurt your back as well. And I remember I slipped a disc in my back. So on the way up on like the 16th or so rep, I felt this just weird shift in my body. And it wasn't even like an electrical pain or anything. It just felt really odd. And I let go of the bar and kind of had a hard time standing up. Had a hard time driving home because we had driven an hour to this other gym. And it was just really uncomfortable. I had really a couple bad days. And I remember trying to figure out what the hell had happened. And I just kept trying to train my abs because I noticed when my abs were tensed, I felt good. So I did a lot of ab training, but I never really skipped any workouts, didn't miss a workout or anything. Just kept working through it. It wasn't until later in years that I got my back scanned for a different issue and then found out the disc was out of place. So, whoops. I remember I tore both my quads when I was trying a knee-wrapped squat, way heavier than I ever should have. But again, this is when you're young and dumb, early 20s, you're training with a partner who's stronger than you. Neither one of you really understand what good form is. And you throw on knee wraps, you try a big heavy squat, and I tore both my outer quads. So I remember I flexed my legs to stand up, and my leg muscles moved, but nothing else did. And I was like, damn. So that was not good. So I remember that, though. I remember I didn't miss any leg days. I didn't miss any training. I had to kind of downgrade to like really light leg extensions, and I had trouble doing bodyweight squats for a while. But I still went into the gym every leg day, and I still did something. So before that, I remember I was playing basketball in college once, and I rolled my ankle, and my ankle hurt like hell. It swelled up for a couple days. I thought I could walk it off. It just got worse and worse and worse. And then I went to the ER a couple days later. I had to walk myself to the ER a couple days later, and I was quite miserable. And I showed up soaking wet. And as soon as I got through the hospital door, the nurse looked up from the counter. She said, "Don't move. We'll come get you." So I had my entire shirt and my pants were actually sweaty and kind of soaked from the misery of that walk. But here I tore the 3 ligaments you have on the outside of your ankle. And I thought I could walk that off. I was an idiot. But it was something where I tried the challenge of overcoming the pain. And I could endure the pain for a little while, but it broke me after 3 days. My ankle hurt so damn bad. I remember I popped both my shoulders out of place in football way back in the day. I tried to do the next play and I got destroyed. Somebody ran me over because I couldn't lift my arms. I went and remember and I told my coach, I was like, "Coach, I can't lift my arms." He's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Look." And I just kind of like flopped my arms around and he grabbed my wrist and picked my hands up and it popped my shoulders back in place. After that, they were out, and I went and finished the rest of the game. So that was horrible, by the way, because that caused a shit ton of problems in my shoulders that I'm still dealing with to this day. But I remember going through each of those experiences where at the time I didn't think of them as, oh, let me deal with this pain so I can become stronger in the future. But as I've looked back from one experience back into a past one, I can see how that past one had made me stronger for the current one. So I first ever started lifting weights when I was 16 years old. And it was fueled out of kind of like self-hate. I didn't really like the way I looked. I felt like I was mentally weak. I didn't like a lot about myself. So one of the challenges I used to do that I've talked about before is bicep curls with an easy curl bar. I would put a weight on, and I don't really remember the exact weights. It's probably something I could do for like a good 20 reps or so. But I would curl the bar until I physically couldn't hold the bar anymore. So I could take small rests if I needed to like dangle my arms and stuff, but like still while holding onto the bar. So doing like rest pause, but I could never put the bar down. I would just curl until I couldn't feel my arms and my hands. And then it was to the point where the bar would just fall out of my hand because I couldn't close my hand anymore. And those types of physical challenges at that time build up physical strength, like pain tolerance strength, that I could see in every other of those stories I told you, like how from moment to moment, story to story, I got stronger and stronger and stronger mentally to the point where last year when I tore my leg muscles, I just said, crap, went right to the gym and started training. And it wasn't even something I felt like was super tough, wasn't something I had to convince myself to do, it was just the right thing to do. So I developed enough mental toughness not only to be able to endure what was thrown at me, but just to understand that enduring it was just the option. There was no choice. It wasn't even that big of a deal. You just endure it and you move on. So if you think about it, what have you been through? What are your kind of like badge of honor type like story pains? We all have them. So they might not be physical pains like mine, but maybe they were emotional pains. Maybe it was mental stress, emotional stress from relationships or from others. Like I said, maybe you had financial hardships. What's been the things that have challenged you, but you were able to overcome? And now they become like your victory stories. What are your victory stories? Often we already have something that we've endured in our life. Something that we are proud of, that we came out on the other side. So these are the stories that they challenged us, but it was something that made us stronger. So, if we know that overcoming challenges, makes us stronger. If our goal is to build mental discipline, like improve our mental strength, then we have to overcome more challenges. So if I want to be mentally tough, I have to challenge myself. and do that incrementally over time with tougher and tougher challenges, and that will make me tougher. Again, you only grow through, you only grow to what you grow through. So the hardest challenge you've ever been faced with will only be the level of how strong you can be. So you need to challenge yourself more. And they can even be small things. So I remember one time I wasn't on any diet. I was just kind of eating whatever I felt like at the time. But I remember I was having ice cream on the weekends, and every once in a while having ice cream during the week. And I remember thinking to myself as man, I don't really I'm training kind of hard. I'm eating pretty clean otherwise. Why am I kind of holding myself back by having ice cream all the time? And then I'd tell myself, hey, I'm not going to have ice cream next weekend. And then all of a sudden I'd find myself eating ice cream next weekend. and I'm like, damn it, anyhow, I didn't want to do this. So I remember I actually gave up ice cream for a whole year as just a self-imposed discipline. Because I didn't like the fact that I felt like I was starting to lose control to ice cream. I know that sounds absolutely stupid, so feel free to laugh a little bit. But it was just something where I knew it wasn't a bad habit. I wasn't going to go to hell or, become 5,000 pounds and fat and undo all my work just by having a little bit of ice cream. But it was something that was counterproductive at the amount I was having it. And it was something that I had told myself I'd quit, but I kept finding myself doing it again. So you think I'm just going to have a glass of wine tonight. And that turns into 2 nights, 3 nights, 4 nights, 5 weeks. It's just something that cascades. Or, I don't think about food is I don't have time for breakfast. I'm just going to skip it today. I'm just going to sleep in a little bit today and I'm going to miss breakfast. That turns from 1 day to 2 days to 3 weeks to 4 months to the rest of your life. So it's often those little subtle things that get us in a lot of trouble. They're not the worst thing in the world. So there's no amazing red flags around them that catches our attention. There's no flashing lights that say, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. They're almost like innocent weaknesses, so to speak. They're not innocent, by the way. They do cause problems. So if you find yourself having those, that might be a great, great place to start with self-challenges. So think to yourself, what is controlling you? Just like I felt like ice cream was controlling me. When I would say no, all of a sudden I'd find a carton of ice cream in my hand and I'd be eating ice cream. So it was something that had more control over me than I had over me. So think about it. What's controlling you? Often you can see what's controlling you in your excuses. So are you controlled by not living the life that you want because you don't feel like you have enough time? Because you don't feel like you have enough money? Are you not living the life you want because you're almost afraid of how hard you'd have to work to get it? And you're like, gosh, what if I could achieve it, but I don't want to have to work that hard? So it's almost like a fear of the invested effort it might require. You might not be living the life you want because you don't think you're able to do the things that are needed before you've even started them. So you haven't even challenged yourself to start anything, but you already feel inadequate. Or maybe you don't even feel worthy of a good life. Maybe you've made some mistakes in your past and you're like, I don't deserve to be happy. Which is bullshit, okay? Everybody makes mistakes. If you truly feel bad, you can try to correct if there's anything to be corrected. If there isn't, well, just apologize, to your past self. Apologize to your current self that you've been holding yourself back. And move on, okay? We've all made mistakes. I've said mean things to people that I'll never be able to take back. And those are just that one sentence brought back a couple of the memories of those exact moments where I let someone down. Maybe I just didn't have something prepared in my life. Either emotionally, mentally, physically, I just let somebody down with something. And those moments suck horribly, horribly bad. But you can't get them back. So what I can do is use those moments as learning lessons and not do it anymore in the future. So you might not be able to fix your past. There might be nothing you can do about it. But you can fix your future. You can still live a happy life. It doesn't mean you had to forgive yourself of something you didn't want to forgive yourself of, but you should forgive yourself, by the way. But there's no need for us to live a miserable future because of a miserable past. You can move forward and you can be worthy of a happy future. Okay? So think, what is holding you back? And think this. If it's holding you back today, it'll hold you back tomorrow. Tomorrow will turn into 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, and someday you will die, having today been the best that you've ever been. You will not grow from today until the day that you die, unless you take responsibility and take charge to grow. If you don't think you have time to reach your goals today, guess what? There's no more time tomorrow. Every damn day has the exact same amount of time. If you allow time to be holding you back today, it'll hold you back tomorrow. It'll hold you back for the rest of your life. Are you okay with dying, having right now who you are, what you are today, being the best you've ever been? Now, don't get me wrong, you might be an awesome person. You maybe have overcome a lot. You make a big difference in people's lives. You are an awesome person. I'm not saying who you are today is bad. But if you still have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years ahead of you, would you really be okay with staying, stopping here? There's probably more awesomeness you could develop. Okay, you might be a great person now, and I hope you are. Congratulations. But wouldn't it be cool to continue to develop that? Wouldn't it be cool to continue to become even better, to learn even more about what you're capable of? So if you're being held back today by not believing you have enough time, by not believing you have enough money, not believing you have enough energy, by believing that you're limited in your options available to you, your opportunities, if you don't address those things, you will never improve upon who you are today. I, for one, at 35 years old, would not want to be, 65, 75, 85 years old. Thinking back to, I really haven't changed much since I was 35. That's going to be a wasted opportunity. I'm hoping I come into every damn day a little bit better. Every week a little bit better. Every month a little bit better. Every year a little bit better. I am proud of who I am today, but I also know there's things I need to work on of who I am today to become an even better person. And I want to do that. I don't want to stop here. Okay? So think to yourself, is what you believe is holding you back today. Are you willing to let that be your limitation for the rest of your life? Okay? If you're not willing to do that, then that means you have to increase your mental toughness. And you have to learn how to try to overcome those things that are holding you back, those things that are controlling you. And how we do that is 3 steps. Okay? How you can develop mental toughness takes 3 steps.